Hello, today I'm gonna show you how to build a template. If we go over here and click the plus button, it will open and it will show the test element. We have two test containers, test and test status container. I have shown you in another video the difference between those. The green one you mainly use for the plugins, and the red one you can use for the others if you want. You can also put the green one in the red one and opposite if you want to. But those containers give you some options, as I have shown in another video. I always start with a test container and rename it. For the test I will do this, I will make a test for a monitor, and the most monitors have a checklist. Then I click and hold and drag it over and put it in the test container. And I will also rename the checklist element and call it checklist monitor. And for on custom setups you can add texts as visual check, chassis, labels, etc. And then you have a pass option and a fail option. You can rename these. Just to click left click, and in pass left click you will have some option: pass, fail, not applicable, or ignored. And for this you will have only pass and fail. If you have an option who will need an NA, you can right click and add new options, and you can call it NA. There you have three options. You can have so many options, more options than this if you want to. If I right click and delete options. To make a new line, you mark this and just push the plus button we will have, and to delete you push the red X, and you can change the queue with those arrows. We'll also have a button test for the monitor. And maybe you also will have a display test. To perform some test on the ECG or another, you use a test container. Click, hold and drag. I will use the ProSim 8, and you always have an auto sequence template or element in some. You have it in the 615 and you have it in 620, but not in the QAES or the beeper pump. But when you have auto sequence, you always start with that. That is to help you manage the test in this, so it's necessary to use for automatic testing. You make a ECG simulation. I want to test, I can drag all this over if I want. So I can test, but I just want to test normal sinus. I mark this and delete those I don't want to test. Like this. You can rename by marking this so it's blue, and you can rename, and you can call it ECG test check 60 BPM. In custom setups, you can change the settings, and you can change the BPM rate, and you can have a duration time over 15 seconds or more. Just or you can notice, and the test will continue until you stop it yourself. To make an expected result would be between 61 and 59 BPM. In the custom setups, you also have two options: enable and skip button, and enable NA button. If this is chosen, you have those options down here in the test sequence, and you can enable them, so the technician have to make the test. He cannot just enable skip or push the NA button to proceed, but he need to do the test to continue. And if you want some IBP simulation, you can put it in here and just remove what you don't want to have. Dynamic simulation test, you mark the container, the test element, and go to custom setups, make your settings in accordance to the maintenance manual, and also the expected results you put in here. And if you don't need to test this, you can delete, right click and delete, or you can also add. And now here you also have the enable skip and NA button. You can also rename the test status container, main general setups, and rename it. And you could example call this ECG test. And if you want to split the IBP, you can drag one in and rename this container to IBP test. Then you have a better overview, and you can change, to where the different tests are. When you are finished to make your test element, you need to store it, and then go to the file and save as. And I will always recommend to save in C column. Make a map called answer or something, because when you store it in this on the C column, you can just copy that and install it in another computer. Because if you will add pictures or links in the test element, test template, you also need to store the picture in this, like I have done here. Pictures, and here is the test element. And I want to store that, and I just call it test monitor. How it's stored. As you can see now in C column answer templates, it down here. If I have some graphics or some of this, the test will collect the graphics from this position. So the file name need to be a C colon if the file name, like this graphic, have C answer testplate graphic LifePack 12 audio. If it will be D colon, the test will not find this image for the test. So it's very important to store on the same so that it will have the same file name.